The physics of the Atlatl. Humans had no claws, no fangs, no armor. By every physical metric, we were the weakest predators on the Pleistocene landscape. A mammoth weighed 9 tons. A cave bear could shatter bone with a single strike. We topped out at 12 miles per hour. And yet the mammoth is gone. The cave bear is gone. The giant ground sloth, the mastodon, the woolly rhino, all gone. We are still here. This video is about the engineering that changed that equation. The Atlatl is a spear thrower, a handheld lever, 45 to 75 centimeters long, with a hooked spur at one end that engages the base of a dart. Mechanically, it is one of the most elegant force multiplication devices ever built by a human hand. At its core, it functions as a Class 3 lever. The grip is the fulcrum. The wrist provides the effort. The spur, at the far end of the device, is the output point. When the throw is executed, the Atlatl acts as a rigid extension of the forearm, adding a fourth joint to the kinematic chain of the human arm. Result? The tip of the Atlatl moves faster than the wrist alone. Angular velocity is amplified. And because kinetic energy scales with the square of velocity, Ke equals 1/2 mv squared, that amplification is exponential, not linear. A forearm of 35 centimeters extended to 65 centimeters gives a velocity multiplier of roughly 1.85 times. Square that. 1.85 squared is approximately 3.4. Same hunter, same muscles, same throw, but 3.4 times the kinetic energy delivered to the target. That is what engineering does. The Neanderthal was not unintelligent. They used fire, buried their dead, crafted real tools. But their hunting strategy was contact-based. Their spears were heavy, built for thrusting at close range. Isotopic analysis of Neanderthal skeletons shows traumatic injury patterns concentrated in the head, neck, and upper body, the signature of people who fought very large animals at arm's reach, every time. Their engineering ceiling was the body. Homo sapiens broke that ceiling. With an Atlatl and a tuned dart, effective hunting range extended to 30 to 40 meters. The hunter is no longer in the kill zone. The risk equation is rewritten from the ground up. The Atlatl dart is not simply a lighter spear, it is a mechanically tuned projectile. Unlike a rigid throwing spear, the Atlatl dart is deliberately flexible, the same principle as the archer's paradox in bow and arrow physics. At release, the force vector from the spur briefly misaligns with the dart's long axis. A rigid shaft would deflect unpredictably. A flexible dart bends around the misalignment, absorbs the lateral impulse, and snaps back into stable flight once acceleration is complete. This requires matching dart spine stiffness to point weight, shaft length, and thrower velocity profile. Stone Age engineers performed this optimization. Without equations, without instruments, through iterative craft and accumulated knowledge. That is engineering by any meaningful definition. Everywhere Homo sapiens migrated, megafauna disappeared within a geological eye blink. Australia, 46,000 years ago, Diprotodon gone. North America, 13,000 years ago, mammoth, mastodon, giant ground sloth gone. South America, same story. Shortly after. For the first time in the history of terrestrial predation, a physically weak animal could project lethal force at distances exceeding the target animal's threat perception range. That asymmetry has no biological counter. Size and strength cannot protect you from a danger you never detect. The Atlatl survived in active use for over 25,000 years, longer than any weapon system in recorded military history. It was eventually displaced by the bow, which solved the same problem with stored elastic energy. The bow was displaced by the firearm. The lineage is unbroken. Every projectile weapon traces back to one carved piece of bone or antler, one hooked spur, and one insight. A longer arm moves faster at the tip. That is the Stone Age patent. Physics, expressed in wood and flint. The stone mechanic. Engineering the ancient world. Subscribe for weekly deep dives into the physics and engineering of prehistory.